welcome and hello to all the viewers who are watching us live on this global talk show by Business Power Academy, Netherlands. And today we have a very eminent personality from Vietnam country, and he is none other than Hector Grimaldo. Welcome, Hector, to our show.
Thank you, Business Power Academy from Netherlands, and thank you, Dr. Supriya, for inviting me. I was very moved and honored, mostly excited to be able to share, motivate, and expand, and maybe meet new friends and network. So thank you very much for having me in a global talk show.
Welcome, Hector. And before I take a deep dive in my journey, that is incredible journey with Hector, let me apprise him. He is working to help dream, create, connect, and help scale innovative projects and opportunities which share a vision of a better future. And if I talk about Hector, then he is the founder of Dreamland Echo English, which we will be talking about later, founder and CEO of Dreamland, and also the co-founder of Link Online Learners, global ambassador for hundreds. And if I talk about it is on and on like teachmillin.org, twinkle.com, and so on. And if I talk about his achievements, he was a speaker at ADAPT, biggest technological festival in the world. Dreamers are doers. Speaker at Helsinki Education Week for Link Online Learners in 2020. And so on if I keep talking about him. So let's start with our incredible journey with Hector. Well, Hector,
Yeah.
before I move on, and we all know about your journey, what you are, but still, we want to hear from you your incredible journey.
Thank you. Well, that was an incredible introduction, Dr. Supriya. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I think simply put, behind the achievements and projects and organizations, it's mostly friends and people who share the same like-minded ideas or dreams, and a lot of mind mapping, a lot of meetings and fun times working with people. Thank you. I'm very humbled for such an introduction. And hello, everyone watching us here in the Business Power Academy in Netherlands. To start today's global talk show, I would just simply like to bring it down to how and who I am and how it came to be. I feel a lot of us could relate to surprises and the uncertainty of life itself. And whether you have a clear path, objective, and a goal, or whether you're stumbling and trying to keep up, jumping from rock to rock in this uneven ground, I would really say that it's about the journey, and it's enjoying the journey and kind of getting what you could build your skills with, what you could learn from. And also, don't forget that it's not only a straightforward road to infinity. Rather, if you simply look to your side, you will notice that there are other people going through the same path and the same commotion and catastrophe that you are. And that should really motivate us as a community and as a group to keep pushing forward. A little bit about myself. I was born in Mexico, in Saltillo, Coahuila. It's a city, desertic, hot, maybe about 1 million people in the population. And we are actually famous for finding dinosaur bones in our city. So we are very big on science and museums and art and traditions, of course, being from Mexico. Although I didn't really have the most common childhood, if I could say that. What I mean by it is that if I look back, I probably went to more than 15 schools before I was in university. My parents and I moved a lot because of my father's work. My mother was a teacher for 40 years. So for her and her English, it was easy to teach and find a job within Mexico or the United States. But my father, as a speaker, I think it runs in the family, in the Grimaldo family, he moved a lot. And so our family kind of followed him, and it was always a new adventure and always going blindly. Again, I was just a kid and I didn't understand what was happening. But looking back at it, I realized that all of those first encounters, being the new kid at this school, making new friends, adapting to the class, to the different culture, customs, and even language in different states in Mexico, I think it didn't make my skin thick. Rather, it made my blood thin. It's an idiom used in Spanish, meaning when someone is easy to connect and to communicate and easy to like. That really built my self-confidence to a very comfortable level in regards to adapting and taking any situation, whether near death or risk or success or failure or happiness or sadness. It really allowed me to control how I react and stay calm throughout the chaos. When I was 14, I moved to the United States, to El Paso, Texas, and it was a huge change for me. Being a teenager and new country, I didn't speak English that well at the time, and I even skipped a grade because of my age. So nerves were really stacking up, and I didn't know what to expect. But again, I was worrying for nothing, like most of us do when we can't sleep at night or we
Worry
wonder
for
or the what
nothing.
ifs.
Great.
Yeah, and we at the end, right, Supriya, we realized that it was really not for any reason. And if I'll continue a bit, I went through high school and university in El Paso, Texas, and my friends grew wider and my curiosity to travel the world really exploded. It wasn't until I worked in Disney World for an internship that I was surrounded by all of these international people that were my age and that were all testing the water of what it is like to live abroad, to be an expat, and to live in this like in kind of a community like a family away from your family. And little did I know that I was just enchanted by how interesting every encounter was, how I was learning from every interaction, from every person. And again, I was taking bits and pieces to build my own skills, to strengthen my abilities, and to really work on my weaknesses. After that, I realized, like, you know what, I can't do an office job. I don't want to continue this routine. So after university, I grabbed my backpack and I actually have it here. I wanted to show you. And I traveled the world with my best friend through Europe. And again, it was that enchantment and that magic, that dreamland. Towards the end of my trip, I found myself in the Czech Republic with one ticket. And I realized, do I want to go back home or do I want to take my chances and go to Vietnam for some reason? But I didn't know the language, the currency. I had no idea what this country had in store. Now, fast forward 6 years later, I opened my own English school here in the capital of Hanoi, Vietnam. I speak the language pretty fluently, and I've made family and friends like never before because I stayed in a place where I was out of my comfort zone, but in my comfort zone, not because of myself, but because of the people that were surrounding me and because of the welcoming and, happy smiles that were greeting me on a day-to-day basis in the supermarket and at work and at the gym and at the coffee shop. So that was a little bit about how it came to be. And just looking back and now being into the online education and co-founding, you know, platforms and projects with other international educators, I realized that that enchantment that I saw in Florida, that I saw in Europe, and then I felt in Vietnam, it accelerated throughout the pandemic. And I think that is what brings us together today, Supriya. It's that online, out of comfort and meeting new people.
Exactly. Do agree. So I must say, when I was listening to your journey, which you told me about visiting several countries and how you were flexible, adaptable, that line, Hector, when we are adaptable, when we are flexible, we
Mm,
are the best to survive in the world because survival of the fittest theory, everybody knows that. Who is fit,
hmm.
that is going to survive. And it clearly reflected in your life. I must say, an incredible journey which you have enlightened us today. And most of the viewers who are watching us today live, they must be getting a lot of inspiration from you, Hector, how to move on in life, how to go, how to enjoy every phase. I mean, every country, learning about their culture, in, which you said, now you're speaking fluently Vietnam, and that is really incredible thing. That's really great.
Thank you, Supriya. And I'm a very positive and optimistic person, like I see that you are too, and like many others around the globe are as well. To not be a stereotypical motivator
True.
and only focus on the positive and on the dreams. There are challenges and failures and moments where you think that what was it all for? What am I doing? The doubtfulness, the maybe resentment to yourself or to others, because through collaboration and really putting yourself out there, another Spanish idiom, between the wall and the sword, meaning that there's no way out. It's fighting on or die. And those moments end up being the best stories, the most valuable lessons, and simply put, like the the best conversation starters too. And I would like to share some of those here today in the audience for Business Power Academy. And I think childhood isn't really in the picture. I had a wonderful childhood. I'm an only child. I don't have brothers and sisters. And as I said, I was really putting myself out there to make friends. So I learned it was my own playground. The world became somewhat of my playground. And through university, I studied and I had a full-time job. I was working in insurance and in sales, and I was making sandwiches for 2 years in Subway. And then I went to Disney World and I worked in a casino, and everything was so random. But that was throughout university, and I took everything as an experience and as a chapter, sort of like a semester. And
Definitely.
upon
And I am sure,
graduation,
Hector, these experiences which you are telling me, they are the best
mhm,
teachers. You will not find in any book or anywhere, you will not get trained because these are your own experience who have taught you the real value of life. Well, one question is
you
popping up in my mind, Hector. When,
please.
yeah, when you were doing all these things, like you told me about your uh, challenges or your struggle, what challenges and struggles did you really face in your life? And were these challenges really knocked you down in your life? And how you've overcome to all these things? That we are just dying to listen.
Wow. Well, Supriya, in a way, I'm I'm dying to share too because of the
Sure,
moment that I'm living right now.
sure, sure.
So simple challenges was first day in Europe, I get pickpocketed. All my bank, all my credit cards, 600 euros, all gone. And
Oh my God.
you can either react aggressively or panic, or you can keep your head up and trust that people will lend a helping hand. And that is the lesson that I learned through backpacking that way. And in Vietnam, the challenges were, of course, frustration and very unclear in regards to what my future was going to be, what the culture was like, what they people were saying to me in their language. It was all like being in a platform surrounded by noise and sounds and colors that I couldn't make sense of it. But I conquered those through failure, adaptation, and repetition. That's the sequence. Learn, fail, adapt, repeat. The first one being dreaming, of course. So it brings me to today, right? And it's an honor to share this because I haven't really told anyone other than my really close friends here in Vietnam. I don't see it as a failure, but I see it as a challenge. After 6 years in Vietnam, I realized that I have fallen into that routine that I feared before. Now I'm working in a school. I do my school in the evening and I go to the gym and I repeat and I just sleep and work and wake up and do it again. And even though I love it and I love teaching and I love education, I realized that I think I could take a pause. I could take a break, go back to Mexico, learn a little bit about business, importation and exportation. However, that doesn't mean that I'm abandoning or running away from what I built. If anything, it's the complete opposite. Because Supriya, I think you would agree, as many others, that during this pandemic, acceleration in technology and in the online world shocked everybody.
Hector, earlier we were taught, don't touch mobile, don't be so much adaptive to gadgets, addictive to gadgets. And now
Mm,
you just see, without this gadgets, I mean laptop, mobile, can we work now? We are connecting globally through this only.
yeah,
And everybody is welcoming. So it's just your perception, how you take up the things, whether your glass is half full or it's half empty. It's the way of
yeah,
seeing the technologies also. So it's a boon or a bane. It's depend on how much time you use the technology. So I do agree with you
absolutely.
totally.
And
Exactly.
it's that half empty, half full that you say, and it could be seen as a failure or a success, fullness or emptiness. And someone in my situation, in where I'm standing, you could see it as running away or failure or whatever. But the way that I see it is that when I step back from what I tried building every single day from morning until I close my eyes with my blood, sweat, and tears. I was there every day. I lived that every day. Nobody can tell me that that I wasn't there or that I was late because Dreamland was me and it was every single day.
Super.
How I see me stepping back at this moment, however, is for me to see it from a different perspective and from a different angle, and also to become a support mechanism to what is already built. Because being on the ground in Vietnam doesn't mean that it's online globally and getting noticed. I myself, like Supriya and many others, have found a whole family and friends online. And
Exactly.
through that, I want to show what I built, not because it's finished. That's key. Not because it's finished, but because it happened. It continues to happen, and now it needs adaptation. It needs development in something that isn't really happening here. So I see it as another step in a total different direction, but still not losing sight of why I started or why I love it or why I'm so committed to it. So, bringing to the word challenge, we have those, whether it's happening to you, whether you decided, but the key point here is how you react in the chaos and in the storm. Are you freaking out because it's raining on you, or are you jumping in the puddles? So keep a positive attitude, be optimistic, and that will keep you moving forward.
That's really, really great. And the way you said, Hector, keep moving, keep forwarding, keep darting. And that's really, really inspiration to thousands of viewers who are watching us today. And life is a journey, you can say, full of hectic schedule, this, that. But one thing I loved about you is taking time for yourself, thinking about you. And we should not miss our routine, which you said about gym, going to gym, and you're an inspiration of thousands, including me too. Yeah. So don't miss your gym routine. If all the viewers are watching, keep moving forward. That's what Hector is going to message us today. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Supriya. And physically, mentally, and spiritually are things that we never really fully master. I kind of realized that through traveling, going to Europe really taught me how to be independent and confident and really open to others. And in Asia, I really became connected with my spirit and through breath and my food and like the sun and just it's so mystic.
Great.
And in America, the culture is very, I am king. I am number one. I am the best in the universe. And it's not that any culture is correct, but when you start again picking from your exchanges with
Right.
others and you build your own system and like states of when you should be the most confident or when you should be humble or when you should be mindful, I think that brings us into the never ending daily routine. If I quote one of my friends that from yesterday on Facebook, it said nothing, success isn't guaranteed, it isn't accomplished, it isn't like obtained. Actually, it's rented and the rent is due every day. So don't really stress either about pushing and never crying and never showing weakness and never asking for help. It's not about that either. I think with this hand, we high five friends and family, but we can also go into a routine here, which, like I said before, I think dreaming, and this would be my message to viewers out here, dreaming is how we get motivated and how we take the first step. Learning and learning, of course, never stop learning and lifelong learning, but the reward when you know you're doing it right is when you fail, ironically. Now,
Definitely.
stay with me because after the failure comes adaptation and then repetition, and these repeat themselves just like our life, just like our everyday. So whether you're stuck on failure for a longer time, it doesn't mean that it's forever. It just means that you are getting ready to repeat. So that would be my message for everyone today. I call it the high five formula.
Okay. And when you said the word fail, though, let me tell the word fail itself says first attempt in learning. And that fail is never fail, which I have learned from my life. It just means, yeah, you get failed, you get demotivated, but 10 minutes only I get demotivated. After that, I have to be on my format, I have to be on my form, and whatever I'm doing, it's have to be enjoyed. Because when
Mm,
you love your work, Hector, it's my experience, when you love your work, you will never feel tired. And even if you get demotivated for a second, you will again rise up. Yes, I have to go on. I have to move on. And that's
yeah,
really great. When I listen to you, it's really, really great. Well, before I move to my next question, let's play some rapid the fire round because it's already going exhilarating session. All right,
surely. I'm excited.
one word, Hector, and it should be fast. An unexpected guest arrived to your home. Which dish would you like to go first?
Tacos from Mexico.
Wow, that's really great. Your one great quality which you like most.
My optimism,
Superb. And one quality which you hate most.
the quality I hate the most.
Yeah.
Oof, my financial awareness, numbers, like
Okay.
analytical skills, strategy.
Okay. And what will be your New Year resolution in the coming New Year?
To repeat what I did in Vietnam, what I did every day, to wake up goes until I slept. Not in a objective kind of way, but in a full of life kind of way. I want to repeat that in the next place that I am, and in the next one after that, and forever on.
Superb. And it was really great because listening and answering this rapid fire question is really challenging and which you have taken in a very great note. So hats off to you, Hector, for playing very well. Well, as you said about the message, already you have said, but still a general message to our global audience who are watching us live before we just end up the show. What will be your message?
Surely, like I said, I have the high five formula that I like to use for myself and my friends. And I also have another one called the 30 seconds to infinity rule. And I think you touched on it, Supriya, and it means 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. If you have a goal, I'm pretty sure that you know what to do to achieve it, right? Whether it's reading that book or watching that video or trying that, going there, you absolutely know what you have to do. But the problem is that you're seeing the bigger picture. You're seeing all of the full 100%, and you're not breaking it into days. And it all just takes 30 seconds because on day one, you write your little list and you start ticking it, and it goes on, and you develop into a minute or 3 or 6 or 9. And this could be anything. For me, in my new chapter, I want to use this rule to meet people online and to connect and collaborate. And I want to be sending emails, jumping on online calls. It doesn't mean that I have to do it 8 hours a day, but if I send one email a day, get on a meeting once a week for my first few months, that is going to take me further than contemplating the whole picture for years and getting ready for this magical day to come when you're finally going to be ready. It's never going to happen. It starts with 30 seconds, and it's up to you to take it to infinity.
Wow, that's the lovely message, Hector, you have given. It starts with the 30 seconds and it will go to infinity. Depends on you. So awesome journey. I must say this, and my viewers also will be agree with me whatever I'm saying, and they will reciprocate the same. So thank you so much, Hector, for coming on this
Thank you.
global talk show, and I'm really humbled and honored to host you. Your life journey, you have given a lot of inspiration, a lot of motivation, and I'm sure all the viewers who will go watch this accelerating session must be getting a lot of inspiration about life, how to move on, how to take your challenges as an opportunities, and how to convert your dreams into your passion. And that really means a lot. So thank you so much to you and to my viewers who are constantly and consistently supporting us, loving us. So stay blessed, happy, hale, and hearty. Bye bye from India. Thank you so much, Hector.
Thank you, Dr. Supriya, and thank you to Business Power Academy. Hope to see you again. And thank you to everybody watching today and later.
Bye bye.
Thank you.